So we're waiting for another board member still, but I think we can start the public hearing. We're being live streamed right now and we're recording the meeting. So just so everyone's aware. And so I'd like to make a motion. I guess maybe we can't open the public hearing. We need 3 members, so we'll just wait.
Announcements? Announcements? Announcements.
There's an extra. You wanna, you have choice here or there? I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing on the establishment of the town board as decision-making body under the Monroe Balancing Public Interest Test regarding Ulster County's proposal to conduct a government operations center at Perry's Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so we have a short presentation. Sure. I'd like to hand it over and let people hear this, and then we'll take public comments.
Oh, sorry, close disabled person sharing.
Oh, let me, we're. All right, you should be good to go.
All right. Great, here we go. I think this is essentially about as large as I can make it, so sorry about that. Very quickly, my name is Christopher Young. I'm with Urban Architects. I want to go through a little bit of an introduction of the team. I'll go a little bit out of order here. There are sort of 4 kind of key parts who are working on the design for the project, and we're working in conjunction with the county. And even on the county side, we've got sort of 3 counterparts to that: Department of Emergency Services, Information Services, and Department of Public Works in Ulster County. And then very quickly on the design side, kind of first and foremost, Rick Alfandre from Alfandre Architects, and then ourselves, Urban Architects, teamed up, and then also GPI, represented here by John Montaigne. But before kind of going too much further, I actually want to go back, and we got our who out of the way, but before we get to kind of the what, where, and when parts, let's take a look at the why. And for that, I'm going to ask Everett Erickson, the Director for Department of Emergency Services, to say a couple words on what this is really all about.
Thanks, Christopher. Again, my name is Everett Erickson. I'm the Director of Emergency Services for Ulster County. Our department oversees Division of Emergency Communications, also known as the Public Safety Answering Point for the county, or the 911 Center. Division of Emergency Medical Services, Division of Fire Services, a Division of Emergency Management. We also liaison to law enforcement. So the Government Operations Center would contain the entire Department of Emergency Services, the 911 Center, along with the Emergency Operations Center, and all the divisions and administration. Currently, the Public Safety Answering Point, or the 911 Center, we answered 98,000 calls in 2022, which is up 10% from 21. Administration lines, we answered 57,900 calls, which is up 1% from 2021. Call volume in 2023, January 2023, was up 10.7% from December of 22. Right, so we are a very busy 911 center for the county. over 180,000 residents. And every call that comes in for 1091 comes in through our PSAP. Our current public safety answering point has 8 positions. It was built in the 70s and then became established as a 911 center in the early 90s. Again, it has only 8 positions and 2 administration lines, 2 administration offices. And we don't have the room to expand, to add staffing, to answer the call volume that we're dealing with. So we did an extensive research on properties that could house this facility. And we came up with New Paltz. This is our current facility right now. And the picture below is inside the facility. And Christopher will talk about the site selection process that we went through, but we ended up in New Paltz. And the new facility will allow for interoperability of all divisions within the Department of Emergency Services. This would allow for the expansion of 8 positions within the public safety answering point to 16 positions within the public safety answering point. Okay, it would allow it would integrate the emergency operations center, which is in a completely different location right now, to locate it adjacent to the public safety answering point and expand its capacity from 17 positions to 33 positions. Okay. The reason we picked New Paltz is specifically the infrastructure. When we looked at this, we were looking for redundancy, diversity, and resiliency. When it comes to New Paltz, there's 2 separate central offices that would be Clintondale and New Paltz that come in diverse routes into our into the property, and that would allow us to stay up and running if a central office would go down. Need to remember that the public safety answering point, that 911 center, is the central nervous system of emergency response. Okay, if someone has an emergency, the worst day of their life, they're going to dial 911, and we need to be able to answer. So we need to be up 24/7, 365. Doesn't matter if there's a snowstorm. It doesn't matter if it's a natural disaster. Okay, someone's house is on fire, someone's loved one is having a medical emergency. We need to be able to answer that phone. So that diversity coming in from 2 separate central offices to diverse routes is extremely important for us. Fiber, being able to keep our CAD system, our computer-aided dispatch system, up and running is the same thing. All our information of who gets dispatched, fire, police, and EMS, okay, all saved within that CAD system. It's able to geographically locate you when you call 911. We plot you on a map. So that system needs to stay up and running 24/7, 365. So the diverse routes of fiber coming into the site from different locations was huge. Power, Central Hudson has a substation on Ohioville Road that feeds from 2 separate transformers into location by 2 separate routes. The roadway infrastructure, this location allows us to serve the entire county through major roadway infrastructure. You have 299, the New York State Thruway, 32, 4455, and 9W. Okay, it allows us to bring resources in to handle the natural disaster, and allows us to distribute those resources to every single resident in the county, right? So those are the main reasons that we picked New Paltz. It's great infrastructure, and it really serves every single resident in the county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, so site selection, we invested quite a bit of time and efforts both on the county side and also on the design team side to figure what might be the best location. Our original searches were generally up around Kingston, since that's where the county seat is, and that's kind of the initial focus. Looked at a good 9 sites up around there, some of which were good contenders. We ended up also looking at a number of sites down here, but for the reasons I won't completely repeat from Everett, New Paltz really came to be the best of them. We sort of did a careful analysis in terms of benefits and criteria that GPI had helped work through, the New Paltz location rose to the top. And kind of as you were saying, it was a matter of location in a way, location in terms of the roadways, location in terms of the utilities and services, and location also to, in fact, somewhat by design, not have everything backed up Kingston. So where exactly we're talking about? Here's a little aerial with a bit of a color that may be hard to see. Let's go a little closer in. So we're talking about the property that's directly east of the Thruway exit ramp. And all right, so we've got 299 up top, Thruway over to the left, and in between the exit and South Ohioville Road. And legislature has agreed to make purchase. We're still going through the process of actual purchasing. The 911, the government operations center won't need the entire space. We're sort of taking the part that is, all that we need for it essentially. And we've got laying over zoning maps. And then also a land use. The dark blue kind of at the center is that's the property. And you can see kind of uses around there. Bit of residential, bit of commercial. And then here also just a few reference photos for kind of the land we're talking about. The two top and left and bottom rather are the land, and then also view across the way across Paradise Lane, or neighboring property. All right, for site plan. This is the one view where north is to the right here. Kind of show the full extent, and then from there, what we're planning. And for the top half, where north is back to the top of the page here. John, can I have you say a couple of words?
John Montagne with Greenman Peterson GPI Engineering. As was said, we've done all of the analysis work for all of the various sites that were looked at, leading up to the selection of the Paradise Lane site. The beauty of the Paradise Lane site is that we have, as Eric had said, we have the infrastructure, which is critical for this, and it's redundant infrastructure. But on top of that, the site is a very flat site. It has very well draining soils. It gives us the site setting that we need in order to be able to get separation for the building. The building itself has to have an 82-foot area around it. That's a clear zone. So not only is it the footprint of the building, but 82 feet around that, and then the SW infrastructure goes around that. It has the ability to have solar generated power on it because it has good southern visible access. And on top of that, you'll notice here that there is a road that goes through the site. That's a connection road that we would be doing to bring infrastructure in. And as was noted, we have redundant power and Verizon services that would come off of South Ohioville Road as well as Paradise. So it gives us a loop that goes through the property that allows us to do that. So if you want to go to the next slide is an enlargement of the facility itself. You can see that the building sits to the north of a parking area. In between that is this green space that goes all the way around the building. That is the 82-foot buffer area. That will actually have berms and other landscaping features in it that provide protection for the building so that people can't drive up into the building or do anything to try to disrupt the operations in the facility itself. The other nice thing about this is in the future for expansion, we can expand to the west with the building and still have plenty of room within that buffer. And then our parking area to the south allows us to have some additional expansion for that as well. One of the other things that we're looking at right now, because of the proximity to exit 18 of the Thruway, is the ability to have an actual emergency exit that would come through the parking lot directly onto the off ramp. We're talking to the Thruway Authority about that right now to see if that's feasible. The beauty of that is that in a major emergency, you can get people both in and out, emergency services in and out without having to traverse far from the main Thruway access. That's about the extent of the site design as we stand right now.
Thank you, John. All right, we also, now that we've had a look at the site, let's take a look at the building quickly, just kind of how, what that's all about. Here's our footprint, the red as our entry point. Inside, there's a number of kind of just common areas that will serve all purposes, corridors and like. Right there in the center, that's space for the Emergency Operations Center. So when activated, that's where, you know, all the folks, all the kind of decision makers can come together for their planning and working through whatever's at hand. To the left of that, that's the PSAP, it's the 911 call center. Dispatchers and supervisors all in there, training room. To the left, sorry, yeah, further to the left, the offices for Department of Emergency Services. And then all of that is kind of resting upon server room for all communication equipment and information services. And then lastly, the mechanical spaces that of course are needed as well. There, we also do now kind of a view for the buildings, some massing studies we were doing. And as I bring these up, I just want to give a bit of a word of caution. We're still working through with the county, on the design team with the county to figure out what exactly are our materials. So, you know, we have sort of suggestions, but please just don't take anything necessarily too literally. What I do want to point out, though, is that, you know, we're being mindful of the fact that we're in the gateway hamlet for New Paltz, and we'll want to work with materials that are sympathetic to the area. And we'll also, you know, also have to kind of strike the balance among durability. This building is meant to last 50, 7,500 years. So we need to work with good and durable materials, but of course we also have to keep them affordable too. So, you know, we're striking that balance, but I think in any case, it's going to be a matter of, you know, 3, 4, 5 you know, key materials that give both that durability and more the you know, finer feel that I think will be fitting for still a somewhat of a residential area. We don't want it to be looking too alien. Here's the view that would be from the southwest, and you can see solar panels on the roof that John was referring to. And view from the northwest, where we're also trying to bring daylight in. You know, we need to make sure that the 911 dispatchers are in a good, secure, safe area, but we also don't want to then kind of have them in a, you know, a windowless spot where, you know, for their 12-hour shifts, I think it can be long enough that we don't need to deprive them of natural light. A couple elevations on either side, the roof from in front and back as well. And from there, we're on to a little bit of the process. Dennis, can I have you come up and?
Sure. I was wondering, Chris, before I come up, if you could give us a sense of the size of the building and ask if Rick Alfond could talk a little bit about some of the design objectives with respect to green infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
16,000 square feet.
Correct.
So it's, the new fire station is 16,000 square feet, including the mezzanine. So it's a little bit bigger footprint than the fire station in terms of size. And similar construction, insulated concrete form walls, and a steel frame roof with rigid insulation on top. In this case, we're going to be using geothermal or ground source heat pump heating and cooling, which will put all of the mechanics inside the building protected. It's also more efficient. We've applied to NYSERDA for their carbon neutral opportunity. We're hoping to get some support in that regard, but regardless, the county is committed to ground source heat pump heating and cooling. We're studying how much solar we can put on the building, and maybe in the future there'll be ground mount on the site. It'll be an ultra energy efficient building, but it will use a lot of electricity because it's going to have a lot of computers and servers. So we're probably, given the size of the building, I'm going to guess we're going to be around 25% of the annual electricity demand on the building. That's a guess right now. We're working with the same, or the county is with the same construction management company that did help with this building and that building, the Palumbo Group. And we went through a fairly extensive alternatives analysis with respect to the closures, and hands down, the ICF system is best. You know, it's ballistics resistant, it's insulated inside and out, virtually airtight. So that's a really good thing. Stormwater, I mean, John can talk to it better than I, but the standard regulations are going to be good, less discharge than pre-development and better water quality than pre-development. And there will be fairly extensive landscaping, although these models don't show it yet.
Thank you.
Thanks. That next slide. I guess.
And daylight from above.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, daylight from above.
From the north, hopefully. That'll do it. Yeah, I don't know. I know I can't see it. I'm not sure how you folks can. My name's Dennis Doyle. I'm the planning director for Ulster County. I just wanted to give you a sense of where we are and how we got here, what this hearing is about. The county is declared itself its intent to establish itself as lead agency with respect to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. We had no objections within the 30-day response period. So within that time frame, having no objections, we were able to assume the lead agency status. So the county has assumed lead agency status with respect to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Have a list of some of the things that we're looking to consider relative to that. And if you could go to the next slide. The next slide explains something called the balancing of public interest test. It's been around for a while, but effectively what ends up happening is when units of government encroach on other units of government, and they want to seek relief from the zoning statute, there's something that is called a balancing of public interest tests. And there are 8 things that are considered in that balancing of public interest test. And the encroached upon government essentially has the ability to make a decision to grant the county limited immunity from its zoning statute. And so we've made that request to the town of New Paltz. The town of New Paltz has assumed the decision as a decision-making body. The court cases with respect to this don't tell us who essentially makes those decisions. So it's up to the community to make the decision who makes that work. And in this case, we're in front of the town board to make those decisions with respect to that. I imagine it was a similar process that went through when you built the fire station as well, because there may be an exempt provision within your statute for some municipal work. What that means is in fact where there may not be an allowed use for this particular thing, or there may be issues with respect to things such as setbacks or other types of things that are in the zoning statute. The county will be granted relief for meeting those things by the town board. And what we want to make sure of, and we've requested the town board hold this public hearing to make sure that the residents and members of the public have an opportunity to comment. Thank you.
And then I think that just leaves us with one more thing of a bit of a when. And this, again, hard to see, but we're looking toward it kind of this way. Best case scenario, so we're done with our site selection and legislature has approved. We're still in our phases of design and getting through regulatory things. The bottom line is construction will be looking to start this fall and then basically complete and then have it ready for opening service 2 years after that. Maybe about 15 months or so of construction, and then it takes a good while to fit out with all that equipment and get everything commissioned. So that's it.
If I could just say, I'm sorry, Nick, if I could just say one last thing, and my apologies for standing up and down, I just want to remind that we have established a website for the project. We're starting to add documents to that website. The link is actually in the public hearing notice, which was in the paper. If anyone has a question with respect to where that link is, you can go to the County Planning Department's webpage and just type in the Government Operations Center. It should take you there. That website went live, I believe, yesterday. And we started uploading documents. Give us a chance. We'll upload this presentation so you can see it. We'll upload all the material with respect to where we are in seeker so that you have an opportunity to look at that. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And so we will open the floor for public comment. We can maybe unshare the screen because there are going to be some people on Zoom as well. And so We open the floor for public comment. We'd like to ask people to keep your comments to 3 minutes. I'm sure we have more than a few people who would like to make a comment. So if you have signed up, you can come up and we'll alternate between online and in live. And so why don't we start with, we'll start with Janelle, who is online. And if
Very good.
please.
Thank you. My name is Janelle Piotr, and I live in the town of New Paltz. Just to be clear, my comments tonight are my own and not representing my role as Climate Smart Coordinator. I have followed with interest the proposal to build the Government Operations Center at Paradise Lane. I think it's in the public's interest to develop the property for this purpose and to establish the town board as a decision-making body. If done with intention, I think this building will not just improve in the emergency response to New Paltz and the rest of Ulster County, but it will be a real opportunity to showcase a truly environmentally sensitive design, which utilizes energy efficiency technology and climate smart materials procurement to the fullest extent possible. As a government operations center, I know it will also be critical to climate smart resiliency planning. With the climate crisis, we are seeing more floods, fires, ice storms, extreme heat days, and droughts, such that emergency central planning is critical. Both in New Paltz and in Ulster County, we need to do everything we can to not just lower greenhouse gas emissions of our municipal and county buildings, but also serve as a shining light and inspiration to what can be done. I have reviewed the site plan and certainly learned a lot more at tonight's presentation, but I would like to see a higher level of detail, and I'm glad to hear that there I can now visit the website and see more. I know this hearing is not intended to be feedback on the design per se, but I know there is a desire to move quickly on this project, and the time for consideration and input to design can't happen soon enough. I hope that the design elements include not just the heat pumps and the solar panels on the roof, but also solar canopies in the parking lot, multiple EV charging stations, protected bicycle parking, battery energy storage backup, and the consideration of a microgrid. Green sources of cement should also be considered and procured if possible. Landscaping elements should not be the usual seeding of grass, but rather surrounding the site with meadow, other pollinator plants, and if necessary, no-mow grasses. I know that Ulster County was the first county to achieve silver level climate smart community certification in 2016, which is a real notable achievement. But we need to not rest on our laurels, but continue to be exemplary and show leadership. One issue that I believe needs more clarity is in the third whereas of this resolution. It states Ulster County, quote, Ulster County has requested a grant of immunity from certain provisions of Chapter 140 of the Town Code, unquote. I think the public needs to know more about what those certain provisions are. And so in summary, once those certain provisions are made clear, I believe I could stand in full support of the passage of this resolution to grant immunity from the town code to the county for its construction and operation of the Government Operations Center. I do hope that there are further opportunities for public input into the design and construction of this project. Thank you very much for your time and consideration tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have someone here who would like to make a comment in person? Yeah, please come up and
There is a list. Do you want the list?
if everyone has signed up for the list, I'm happy to take the list. And just state your name and
Should I face you? Which way should I face?
this is the camera.
Okay. Annie Weiss Bartzek. I live in Gardner, but I come into the village frequently to shop, to eat, to see the to see the movies. However, we are 1 mile north into the school district. And the property taxes and from the school district is the major burden on us. I don't want to see another property from New Paltz going off the tax rolls. I'm wondering if the SUNY New Paltz campus was considered for this project. Obviously, we need this project, but SUNY New Paltz is already off the tax roll, and there is probably plenty of land in the back for something like this. So again, I really don't want to see this large parcel go out off the tax rolls. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Liz Lee,
Yes, thank you for the presentation. It really gave a lot of clarification and the need for this emergency operations center. I do have two questions. One is when and where can we access the project's report on the impact on the wetlands, the water quality, and the brownfield remediation? And in line with that, I would like to know who is paying for the brownfield remediation. Those are my two questions. Thank you.
thank you. Jane Nelson,
Hi, I'm Jay Nelson. I live on South Ohioville Road, about a mile from this project. And when I first learned about it from the New Paltz Times, it just blew my mind because it didn't explain that the property, not the entire amount of property, would be turned over to the county for as their jurisdiction, overriding anything happening from New Paltz. So I wish, eventually I talked to Neil and he explained it to me and calmed me down. So would you go through and explain the size of the amount of this property that will be controlled essentially carte blanche by the county?
so we don't normally go back and forth, and I hadn't planned on to, but this is roughly a 60-acre parcel. This is a proposal for roughly 6 acres. Is that right? And what they're asking for is us to do the public balance interest for the project that's on the 6 acres. So we're only talking about, this individual project that's for the government operations center on, that's what we're thinking, that's what we're having this public hearing on, and that's what we're voting on for these 6 acres. We're not talking about all 60 acres. If something else is proposed for the rest of the property, we would have to do the same process again, or they would have to go before the planning board.
Very good, thank you, because that was not clear to me in either the presentation on the 5th or even tonight or in the newspaper. So I'm glad you clarified that and you calmed me down a great deal. I had written a 2-page document here, but I'm not going to bore everybody with that. My main concern overall is that to implore the town board not to relinquish land use jurisdiction over this entire site, or for that matter, most sites in New Paltz. I think I'll just end up writing a long letter to the editor because I got a lot of things I'd like to get off my chest about this. The main thing that I think is important to point out is that the southern part of this property is extremely wet, where the forest is shown there and other places. I've gone out there 3 times in the last 3 months since the middle of January. And believe me, I've been out there many times before during the big box period in the mid-90s. So I know the property well. I know there are a lot of wells out there. And I would think the county should propose and be willing to have a conservation easement that the town would oversee, and understand you have a relationship with the Wallkill Valley Land Trust, and they could be the ones who do the monitoring. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else online? If not, so raise your hand, but well, in the meantime, Rich Whitney.
Hi. So I'm the chair of the New Paltz Environmental Conservation Board. This project obviously isn't before us yet, but we had our meeting in February and we just wanted to draft a letter, kind of saying that we're aware of the project and we look forward to going through it. So I'm just going to kind of go through it pretty quick here. This letter acknowledges that the Environmental Conservation Board's awareness of the above referenced action that is subject to the name public hearing. The applicant, Ulster County, is proposing to construct a government facility to conduct public interest operations for Ulster County agencies for the benefit of the residents and visitors of Ulster County. The ENCB reviewed the application materials to date, which we haven't seen the website since it went live yesterday. To date, and discussed the brownfield and or distressed property nature of the site. In addition, members of the ENCB have reviewed related materials regarding this project. The proposed action will be applicable to the limited, smaller, specific portion of the overall larger site that is hosted the Government Operations Center. The remaining portions of the larger site will remain subject to the review and decision-making body designation at a later time, which is this hearing. At this time, the ENCB understands that no such finalized improvement or development plans have been completed. The ENCB understands that the decision-making approach will not alleviate any responsibilities to address or remediate the impacted areas of the site. So whether that's the town of New Paltz or Ulster County. Based on this information, the ENCB declares that our awareness of the decision-making approach regarding the county's proposed project for the town of New Paltz. Should the town or county have any questions about this information, we would be happy to discuss it with them at their convenience. The ENCB looks forward to reviewing additional information regarding this project as it becomes available. Thank you, guys. And then on a personal note, not representing the ENCB, lived in New Paltz my whole life. I think that any property in New Paltz, especially one that is in, areas that we have gone and zoned extensively, I think should be a New Paltz decision making, right? So I believe that we should hold the power to do that. We spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources on trying to create the town that we want it to be. So I think it would not be a great step to turn it over to the county, even with our input on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie Brownstein.
Good evening. My name is Jackie Brownstein, and I live in the town of New Paltz. But today I'm here as a member of the UACT Housing Committee, and I'm speaking on their behalf. We were very happy to read in the project description of the plans of the county's Emergency Operations Center that 21 acres of the site will remain available for county priorities, including housing. Long before the site was proposed for the EOC, UACT Housing Committee viewed the Paradise Lane parcel as a potential site for affordable housing. There are very few parcels within the town where much needed low income and mixed use affordable housing can be developed. When former County Superintendent Pat Ryan released the proposal for building the EOC on Paradise Lane, he also said it would be an ideal location for affordable housing. Well, that got the UACT Housing Committee's attention and garnered our support for the county purchasing the property. Support which continues today with the understanding that affordable housing can be located on this site. We understand that the 21 acres of the over 57 total acres is 1,500 feet from the thruway, far enough away to meet EPA pollution standards for a safe distance from major highways. There are many options for building on this site, including a mixed-use building combining commercial, apartment space, or even building floors above the EOC for apartments, or many other concepts can be included. With these considerations, we are in full support of the town of New Paltz granting relief to the county from the town's land use regulations under the balancing of public interest test for the county's plan to locate the EOC on the planned 6.5 acres provided that some of the remaining usable acres include affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Denton.
Can I just submit the written?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I also feel I should be addressing the county over here too. Tonight, I just want to throw out a few questions about the purchase of the property and the development of the property. Because this is a public hearing and I think it's important for the public and the community to be engaged in this process. So just a few questions. Brownfield was already mentioned. That's really a question for me because there's so many acres out there that were once apple orchards. Brownfield cleanup. Can we get federal, state funds for brownfield cleanup? We know that Pat Ryan was very much in favor of this process. He's now our congressman. Can we lean on Congressman Ryan to help us to get Superfund brownfield cleanup funds? I also wonder about solar fields because that was mentioned somewhere in perhaps in newspaper articles, but can you put solar? I don't know this. Maybe these questions, some of these have already been asked and answered, but I'm a member of the public here. Can solar fields be constructed on brownfields without cleanup? I see a nod. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Can solar arrays be set up or interspersed among wetlands without any kind of remediation? All right. If we set up solar arrays in that property, might the energy that is produced for it be directed perhaps to the community of New Paltz, even as dollars or electricity, as this is in the new town of New Paltz? How might the low income and affordable housing that we are talking about here today be incorporated into our town supervisors and our town board's vision of the development of the historic Ohioville property? I think that's something we should really look into. And finally, just a question about the buffers. I hear that there are going to be buffers around the center itself. Will there be buffers along that western side against the exit to the throughway? And if that is so, will those buffers be extended to the areas of those 21 acres that might be developed for housing and mixed use? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kitty Brown.
I'm already out. Don't be alarmed by the number of pages. It's big print, old eyes. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Can people hear me if I keep the mask on? Okay. It was a great presentation. I think we certainly all understand the need for this Government Emergency Operations Center. So we clearly heard why this is great for the county. And tonight, our town board is going to have to decide why it's good for the town. As of today, there is still no notice of this public hearing on your website. The last public hearing was on June 2021. So maybe we could just start revving that up.
Well, we did notice the meeting, which notices the public hearing.
I couldn't find it.
It's on the agenda.
Well, right, but if you go to the town website where it shows
The
public
agenda's on the
hearings,
town website.
right, but this is where the news of public hearings is, and it would be good to have them there. Also, I'd like to request that maybe you could move up your vote and discussion earlier in the agenda instead of having it at the end, just a request. The town Facebook page has many notices about Narcan training, but none about tonight's public hearing. So a little more, feedback would be helpful. It's possible that residents of the town and county may not be aware of this meeting. So I'm hoping that you'll keep the meeting open and give the public a chance to look at all these comments, materials, and maybe come back in a month with a better understanding. I understand that we're here tonight to comment on the Monroe balance test. So I've learned a little bit about that. The legislature said that the first phase includes community engagement, but I don't know when that happened. Did anybody get a notice about community engagement? I missed it. So maybe tonight could be our first step at community engagement. The county planning board website, as Dennis pointed out, it talks about the project. Old eyes here. Parking for 65 cars, areas for expansion, perimeter protection, a 65 to 70 foot communication tower, water and sewer infrastructure. Approximately 21 acres of the site will remain available to meet future community needs. So it's confusing for us that you're only talking about 6 acres tonight, but the county website is the whole site. So it's hard for us to understand why tonight you're just talking about 6 acres. So, so the criteria for the balance test,
You could wrap it up.
I've got 2 other people who signed my letter. So could I have their time? No.
That's not how it works. Each speaker gets 3 minutes. You can finish up. I'm just, yeah, you don't have to stop, but just try to wrap it up, please.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I don't want to shut you off, but we're trying to give everyone a chance to speak.
I appreciate it. Have you seen the environmental assessment form that was submitted to the planning board? Are the 20 acres that are on that EAF the same 20 acres that the county is referencing in their plan? Do you have ideas for the use of the rest of the property? Can we keep open to mixed use, retail and housing? If the facility is safe for 24/7 occupancy, why not keep the part of the zoning that allows for 2nd-story housing? Town just rezoned the property specifically to allow Wildberry Lodge. There's potential here. So I guess we need to understand how you see the town benefiting from changing the zoning, losing the tax revenues, as well as the opportunity to have mixed use. There's close to 300 acres by the fairgrounds, it's county owned. Finally, between the Thruway, the DEC, Central School District, SUNY New Paltz, county-owned property, town property, religious organizations, it feels like New Paltz has a huge amount of tax-exempt property. So have you measured the percentage of tax-exempt property in New Paltz compared to other towns? Is the extent of the public interest served by these improvements consistent with removing the entirety of such a significant commercially zoned parcel? Thanks.
Thank you. Susan Denton.
Thank you. I also don't comment. I appreciate the opportunity, but I feel like my thoughts have been covered. And I appreciate the county presentation.
Thank you. Erwin Sperber.
My name is Erwin Sperber, 142 Brunswick Road, New Paltz, New York, although I pay my taxes for property for educational and school taxes to the New Paltz School District. I'm legally speaking in Gardner, where I vote. And I know some elected officials get stressed out over the fact that I bridge two jurisdictions. One of the concerns I have is that the process of site selection was done meticulously by people with a good deal of technical competence, and I'm impressed with that. What I'm nevertheless still finding quite worrisome is that the site selection apparently is a fait accompli, and that renders public input into this whole discussion somewhat moot, because there are options for site selection that appear to have been overlooked. One was already mentioned. There's a good deal of terrain on the SUNY New Paltz campus, for example, that to the best of my knowledge is used for no productive purpose or any purpose at all. And also some consideration might also be given to the acreage, which is quite substantial at SUNY Ulster, because that would, either one of those options would lead to the placement of this project in an area that would cause no removal of property taxes from acreage that now could generate property taxes for the town of New Paltz. And frankly, I think the town of New Paltz has been largely been facing too minimal a revenue stream in terms of taxes for many decades. And so any time a project of this magnitude, which I consider, as others have also said, to be vital and really beneficial to the county, that really should have been given much more consideration. There may well be other areas besides SUNY New Paltz and SUNY Ulster that might be viable options. And this is not simply a technical matter for people with impressive engineering skills and architectural know-how to determine, but it's also for the taxpayers, the voters, the homeowners in New Paltz and also in Gardner who pay lots of their tax dollars to support the public good. I also am very much concerned that little to no attention has been given about the potentials for traffic congestion, given the proximity of this project to the throughway exit. And for all of the talk about our green environment, and there are more, it seems there are more environmental organizations in New Paltz than there are pizza parlors. But the fact is that the air quality in this town, especially on weekends, especially in the milder weather, and most especially when there are arts and crafts fairs, county fairs, all kinds of exciting happenings going on at the county fairgrounds or at Mohonk. Well, what happens is you wind up not just with traffic congestion, but I have seen all too often gridlock, and that gridlock means a tremendous amount of greenhouse gas emissions. And I think that one of the ways we could much more appreciate the scope of this problem is by looking at it regionally, even though this placement of the project is in only one particular place on the Plesser property. But the fact is that if we looked at the traffic flows, not according to an architectural sketch, when no one is traveling around in a car, and it's just an abstract
architectural rendition. But when we see it in real time, in the real world, with the benefit of improvements in drone technology and aerial photography, the fact is that we need realistic pictures of this in the say from 500 feet up, 1,000 feet up, 2,000 feet up, so we can see what's going to happen and what does realistically already takes place on weekends and in under conditions that are going to lead to significant increases in carbon monoxide and basically air pollution. I do want to say that the project is very worthy of support in principle, but in practice, I think there is room for a lot of improvement in the matters of site selection and public health and safety with regard to air quality.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lay Lardiev. Sorry if I pronounced that
That's
incorrectly.
all right, Sweet Lardia. One thing I'd like to know is, I am one of 2 residents on Paradise Lane. Did I get any notice of this happening? You would think that 2 people or 2 homes on that road, even though it's mostly commercial, you're adding traffic to my home. And Paradise Lane is not safe as it is. So the entrance and exit of this facility, and I support this facility. I have been on New Paltz Rescue Squad since '95. I still volunteer as a board member. So I understand the need for this, but I also want to know how this is going to affect my living there in the next 2 years. The traffic in and out. Basically, my life. All right, I have lived there for 21 years. It seems very wrong that nobody informed the only 2 residents, myself and Doug Ferguson, of this happening. I find out through the paper. Well, excuse me, I don't get the paper. And I would like to know why, my percentage there is a non-issue. It is not a non-issue. I live there, I have for 21 years. I grew up in this town. And I tried to volunteer and do what I can for this town. But I really do wish that somebody would get off their ass, and excuse my language, and do something correctly. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Any more comments online? If not, any more comments here? If not, we'll leave the public hearing open for now, and we will move on to the town board meeting.
I just want to give her a copy of what I gave you.
Oh, I have, thank you.
You got it? No.
So I'd like to make a motion to open the New Paltz Town Board meeting for February 16th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Yeah.
Like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I have no announcements. And with that, I would like to open up the for public input. So if you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand or on Zoom, or come up and, well, again, this is for just general public comments. We're trying to keep it to 3 minutes. And with that,
Hi, me again. Just a request that maybe you can let us know if you're going to hold the public hearing open, or if you're going to vote on the resolution, could you move that up in the agenda?
do you guys want to, if we're going to vote, can we move it up? I mean, we already kind of voted on the agenda, so we'll just go through with what we have. So if there are any other public comments? If not, we have executive session, but maybe we'll put that off a little bit. Well, we have a presentation from Rich. Try to get the presentation first, so we don't make you wait around.
Yeah.
So if you should come up, Rich.
Sure.
You can come to the table if you want.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the annual report for the ANCB.
Great.
Very happy to be doing it in person this year. Of course, the last couple. So I'll just run through it real quick. Members, we have myself as chair, we have Rose. Jonathan Schwartz was a member, he resigned in May. Kendi Tierney, still a member. Ted Nitze, still a member. Chris Beadle resigned in October, and our newest member, Rob Ferry. So we're a board of, I think, five right now. And a little later on, you guys passed a resolution to make our board smaller down to 7, which helps us with quorum, which we still have a small issue with, but we're getting better. So just go through it. Much of the disruption from the response to COVID-19 that occurred in 2020 and 2021 remained during the first 9 months of 2022. Our meetings were held remotely via Zoom from January through September. We returned to in-person meetings in October. Project reviews, the ENCB reviewed all submissions by the planning board and provided written comments when warranted. We sent liaisons to bi-monthly planning board meetings as needed. Some of the bigger projects that we reviewed was the Henry W. Du Bois Bike Lane project. We also had a presentation from Alta Planning. Hudson Valley Credit Union project. We had a presentation from Labella Associates. We reviewed the Viking Industries expansion, 51 Horsenden Road proposed subdivision, and another subdivision on 350 North Ohioville Road. The NCB did not attend any site visits in 2022. As you know, the NCB has the tree law, which we approve trees within a certain distance from the road. We approved 2 tree permits in 2022, 100 Plains Road and 51 Old Route 299. We were environmental policy. The ENCB supported New York State Senate Bill S 7891, which was legislation that will define and legalize advanced recycling, which is a heat-based non-incineration recycling process for plastics that was brought to us by Janelle, our climate smart coordinator. The NRI, as you know, the NRI is up and running. It's been a tremendous resource for the ENCB, and I'm sure anybody who knows about it and wants to look at New Paltz natural resources, it's a great resource. Additional activities. So the ENCB reduced its size to a 7-board member. We've maintained the GIS software for the town, and we received approval for renewal of the GIS license and ERSI conservation program. A number of our members are also on other boards. Rob Ferry represents the town on the Ulster County Environmental Management Council. Ted Nitze chairs the Village New Paltz Environmental Policy Board. Ted and Janelle are part of the ad hoc committee for the solar project on the town landfill, if that's still a thing. That's a tough one to keep track of. Janelle is the climate smart coordinator for the town and village of New Paltz and a member of the New Paltz Bike Ped Committee. She's also a board member for the Climate Action Committee and is chair of the New Paltz Climate Smart Task Force. This annual report was approved at our February 1st, 2023 meeting, respectfully submitted to the town board, and the New York State DEC Commissioner Sagos, I'm going to try to pronounce.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then this was our letter regarding that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you for
I appreciate your work. Sorry.
what you guys do. And yeah, you're right. It's been crazy couple of years.
Yeah, that's good. It'd be faster.
Yeah, and so,
I just- Can I say something, Neil? Are you able to
Please.
hear me? I just want to say thank you so much for, having taken the helm a few years ago. You've done a great job. And I also wanted to say, I really appreciate especially how your board's connection to the planning board and how there's a member from the ENCB who goes every meeting and, people are willing to do that. And that's a great additional, thing that they do. And I really appreciate also the many letters that, end up going, well-written and, great compelling letters that come out of the ENCB related to, comments about applications and so forth. So thank you.
all right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda through A through 3C. All in favor?
Aye.
And is Lauren here? Lauren.
Yes.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Do you want to talk to us here? Or do you want to, we can go into the executive session if you want, or you come up to the table if you want. So we had come on, sit down, please. Yeah, join us. And so, we had a member of the planning board resign, and we posted it online, and you've shown some interest, so we appreciate your coming. And tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in helping out.
I'm a resident of New Paltz. I'm a good representative of the community. I grew up here, obviously. I have children who were raised here. My parents lived here for a very long time, so I think I have an idea of generational expectations of what this town means to people. I want to see the bucolic nature conserved, but I also understand that there needs to be infrastructure and support for local businesses, and there's a lot of balancing acts that need to go on.
Yeah, thanks. You guys have any questions or? Not? So have you watched planning board meetings?
Can you shift the owl maybe?
Oh,
Sorry.
It's with people, if you talk really loud.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, I would love to just to see the person talk if it was easy, but if it's not easy, don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I apologize for not being able to be there.
Okay. Should I move?
Can you see me, Julie?
Hold up 3 fingers and I will. Yes, that's 4.
That way you can see you.
All right,
Better.
so, well, I'm sure that's why you want to volunteer, because you have not watched planning board meetings.
Yeah, Rick just said, good luck, good luck.
Because it is somewhat thankless, but I do appreciate your willingness to volunteer. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
And so it's the way this appointment works, you're filling someone's seat.
Mhm.
And so their term ended at the end of this year. And so you actually can decide at the end of the year not to reapply, or you have the perfect out.
Okay.
Or you can reapply and we would be reappointing you. So it's a till the end of December 31st, and then it would be a 7-year term after that.
Okay.
And so if anyone else has any questions, if not, I would like to make a motion to appoint Lauren McPadden to the planning board.
I'll second that.
Could I just say, I did have a little trouble hearing, and you might have trouble hearing me. Did someone ask what her main interest was? I think that was maybe the first question. Reason for being interested in the position.
Well, I've grown up here. We moved here when I was 4, so I just feel like I'm I'm very interested in what happens in this town, and I think I'm a good example of a representative of this town in terms of seeing different perspectives and hearing different perspectives, and I think it's as hard as I see that it is, and I'm so grateful I am for the people who serve on these boards. It's a beautiful process that I believe in, and so I'm willing to give it a try.
It's a
And,
good opportunity.
yeah.
It's great. And I think the fact that you have generations, lets you see how it affects the different generations, because the planning affects seniors, it affects middle age, it affects families, it
Yes.
affects new people moving in. So
Yes,
and
yes.
if- Into the future, it affects all the different, demographics, and so
Yes.
seeing how our children are going to, look at the land use and the building. I think really affects the way we look at planning
Yes.
into the future, so it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say one more thing. There would be a lot to catch up on if you're not currently, looking at meetings, and I'm so glad you're interested. And maybe we could get her in touch with someone to have a sort of come up to speed meeting, with just the two of them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can meet with the planning zoning secretary, you can meet with the chair. You can ask different questions, is like, we can make sure if you have any questions, they're all addressed.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Yeah.
and there's, I think there's a couple hours of training a year that everyone does. It can be done online. And that will help you kind of understand, how the process works, and we can give you all of the links to that information. And that way you won't feel like you're lost going in. So you'll be able to watch a bunch of videos to see what exactly the role is and what your responsibilities are. So
That would be, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for Stacy also, who, deals with all the permits and,
Okay.
all that element of it. It might be, a good meeting to sit down with her, because she's leaving.
Oh, okay.
And
she's
she
open
knows
to that.
everything. So we can work out, we'll get in touch and work out a meeting with the two of you, because that way you can ask her questions that you may have, and she might be able to give you a view towards decision making.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
all right, all in favor? Did someone second it?
I did, I
Okay.
seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations, yeah. Look forward to working with you. I'll get your email. Okay. Then you can.
Yeah, we have your email.
You have your email, and I'll email you to see if we can work out where you're meeting Stacy, so that will
Okay.
help too.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so the same person who left the planning board was our representative on the county planning board. So we need to fill that seat. And so Adele has offered to kind of fill in for that, the current chair of the planning board. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Adele Ruger for the county planning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And number 6 is, this is the resolution dated February 16th, 2023, authorizing the town board of the town of New Paltz to expend $9,000 of funds for the police department vehicle reserve from the police department vehicle reserve fund to pay towards the cost of a 2023 Ford Police SUV for the police department. So I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to authorize number 7. Authorize the town board of town of New Paltz to expand up to $7,055 of funds from the police department computer reserve fund to pay for the warranty renewal of body worn and car cameras for the police department, subject to a 30-day permissive referendum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 8 is authorization for a temporary loan from the A fund for $9,000 to guarantee the lease rate of 6.67% on the new police vehicle lease through Real Lease. The loan will be satisfied by the police vehicle reserve at the completion of the 30-day permissive referendum.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 9 is motion to approve the contingent offer of employment to a permanent position of police officer with the New Paltz Police Department of Kalen Marsh and Tiffany Claude at the effective rate outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. Contingent offer effective February 19th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 10, approve the hiring of Emily Aldrich as a part-time dispatcher effective February 19th, 2023 at the rate outlined in the collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 11 is the approve the February warrant, $3,304,137.34.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do you guys want to go into executive session now?
Yes.
Okay. So this, I make a motion to go into executive session. Julie, you can call us if you want. This is.
Oh, my phone, if you want. I can.
Great.
Be right back. And this is really, this is to discuss matters of personnel.
Do you need a second? A vote or not?
Second and a vote, yeah.
Oh, second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That does things.
Every day.
You know, it's just set up, stand outside. When you got government.
I didn't see
Oh, I live on San Chestnut.
Oh, I thought it was sort of like.
No. We have our blacks and our tans, but they're all chestnut.
Where I practice that I don't know.
No, it's just a great hashtag.
I did you myself, but I
And this has, Bill Levers, the guy is only really kind of go on.
Space, so my dad would run. That was it. Now he's
That's pretty
Yeah, her. They're deciding in this door is. Everybody. Yeah, like right now. You should have. Yes, your eyes, sweet nose. Dark amber, amber and green. Yeah.
Get there. Right in that. We hit the screen. Don't have to. So many variables. Yeah, it's probably now. Right now. I love the Yeah, we get it. No, I did. I didn't go to.
You know, there's no way that we can.
Yeah, we don't know how to. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, we're just knowing a lot.
Taylor make it. Now bring your battery life. Electrician. State. My name is driving. Haven't plugged it in 3 years.
And she's like. The other one to stay.
And a year and a half later, the line is still full of pleasure, but you know, it's once in a while. She is. Yeah, it's, you know, she takes it. She's can't let it play. But there won't be touch.
No.
There are boundaries. This is.
Next door.
They're not like.
There's a necessity we come up with.
It's not inside.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a long time.
I know.
They do, they do. I did even talk to one. There was a guy coming down the hill from us and he apparently got, they, you know. Arrangements. It was just. So. There about that.
They thought we were like, you know.
I didn't know I didn't have a chance to. Check it. You know. It'll be easy to have an hour on.
And I have done one.
Like to make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And so we're gonna leave the public hearing open for one. So we're out of executive session, and so we're going to leave the public hearing open for one more meeting. And that's all we have. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make sure you see this, but the sign needs to go back.
Hi, is it okay if I ask you questions really fast?
Sure.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I record?
What are you gonna do?
My first
I like how this.
I'm coming from.
Holiday decorations. Outdoor holiday decorations.
And so this is for Chris.
He runs the.